6.5 million households were behind on rent earlier this month.
This one's really good. I saw
around
this
half
video.
of those families and individuals worry that they could be evicted in the next 2 months. That's even though Congress has allocated more than $46 billion to help Americans affected by the pandemic pay their rent. Janet Shamlian is in Las Vegas, where just a fraction of the money for rent relief has reached those who need it most. Janet, good morning.
Anthony, good morning to you. The rent relief money is being allocated differently state by state. Here in Nevada, they had only given out about $3 million by the end of June. Texas, on the other hand, has doled out some $400 million. But even renters there are worried that they're not going to get the help they need before the deadline.
The Bumpus family may be on a ramp to homelessness.
Go on, sit.
Bro, they shot that as they were walking down their ramp. Like, oh my God, dude. Real local news energy right there. They're on a ramp to homelessness.
Jeremy says he was laid off in January and hasn't paid rent in 5 months. When the moratorium
ends, poor timing. They did that on purpose.
Saturday, he's worried his family will be evicted.
I'm from California, so I'm not from here, so I don't really have no backup plan or no plan B. I don't have family and friends.
The owner of their Houston area home has gone to court to get them out.
What will it be like at the end of the month when the moratorium ends?
We are absolutely terrified of what will happen at the end of the month once the moratorium ends, because any case that was on hold can no longer be on hold.
Juan Santamaria of Lone Star Legal Aid says he has 60 more cases, just like the Bumpuses.
Housing is a human right.
Protests have erupted across the country as the eviction crisis has worsened. As many as 15 million people are in the same situation as the Bumpuses, at risk of losing their homes while they wait for federal rent relief.
The bad news is that the money is getting out very slowly.
Getting the money quickly.
This week, Diane Yentl of the National Low-Income Housing Coalition offered Congress a startling fact.
In some places, it's not getting out at all, and it will not reach all the renters who need it to stay stably housed in time.
Nearly half the states in the country have used less than 5% of their federal relief money. As of June, Florida, South Carolina, and New York had given out less than 1%. But the money has been flowing faster recently. Deputy Treasury Secretary Wally Adeyemo acknowledged that early rules, like allowing only landlords to apply for relief, slowed down distribution.
We revised the rule to make sure that tenants, individual people, can actually apply for that money. In addition to doing that, we've simplified the application process, and we've offered local communities and states the opportunity to work with them to make sure that we can improve the ways that they get the money out the door.
Aww.
At HasanAbi,
this guy says, HasanAbi, you're a commie cocksucker. Get the fuck out of Twitch. No. I will not. I will not get the fuck out of Twitch.
23 months, Pogo.
I'm gonna keep fucking your mom too. Sorry. Gonna happen. She loves it. Why don't you let her live her life? Okay? Here's the easy thing you can do also. Just not watch. Stop watching if you're that fucking triggered by listening to a diversity of ideas. How about that? There you go.
Really don't think we're going to see this big wave of pending evictions. If anything else, I think it's going to cause people to really incentivize that communication between renter and property owner.
John Boriak owns these lower income apartments in Houston and heads up an association of area property owners. He believes the moratorium should not be extended, saying it's taken an especially hard hit on so-called mom and pop owners with only a handful of properties.
This is their livelihood, and so when those rents go unpaid, the mortgage is still due and the utility bills are still due.
Just get a job, dude. What the fuck? Like, I don't understand. Okay, then get a job then, I guess. Like, isn't that what we fucking say to everyone else? I don't understand this. Like there is a real like mom and pop owner, okay? There's like people, like, you know, I've talked about this a million times over. Home ownership is like foundational in wealth building. There is no fucking part of like the communist handbook or Marxism that says you can't own a fucking house. And unfortunately, in our current reality, under a capitalist organization of the economy, For a lot of people, like having one extra fucking house or housing unit that you rent out is their like retirement fund for the most part. Okay. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, are you 70 years old and you have only a single other fucking housing unit? And, you know, that's the only way you can, you know, there's no like social security or no fucking help anywhere else. Fuck you. That's not what I'm saying. But as far as like well, they own multiple, shut up, live, private property is dumb. I don't disagree with you. I agree. I do. But this notion that like, oh man, like fuck, I have like, you know, 10 houses and fuck, that's like my main income. All right, well, you know, get a fucking house, Arena, get a job then. But all those mom and pop homeowners are sitting on extra property or squeezing the housing supply and driving up prices. Dude, really? Really, dude? That's who's fucking destroying the American housing market? Like your fucking grandma who has like one additional unit, dude? Are you fucking nuts? How is private property dumb? Should people not be allowed to own homes? I just said I have no problem with fucking home ownership. I think it's a wonderful thing. Until recently, I myself was interested in potentially buying a house. Like it's the most normal thing. It's called personal property. Communism is when no home. I know that there's some fucking crusty ass like anarchists or some like fucking 14-year-old Maoists in the chat that are like, no, that means like communism is when no home, but like from the left. Are you no longer looking for a home? Fuck no. I'm just probably gonna fucking rent a nicer place down the line, like a larger one, so I can house my family. Personal property is when you fucking own a house for yourself. Private property is when you make your capital work for you. But unfortunately, with our increasingly financialized global capitalist marketplace, the only way that people can fucking make sure that they have a nest egg so they don't literally die when they fucking retire is by operating within that same private capitalist infrastructure. You have a car that you drive around. That's your personal property. You have a fleet of cars that you own. All of a sudden, that turns into capital. And that capital, you basically accumulate more wealth over. It's just money making more money for you, okay? It's at the heart of, you know, the disagreements that Marxists have with global financialized capitalism in general. Yes, investments. Yeah, absolutely. And I say this as someone who now officially does have investments in the form of a 401k. So I'm a hypocrite. Didn't understand that difference. Thanks for clarifying. No cars, no cussy. Yes. Communism is when no cars. Capitalism forces you to participate in it. Passive income is being a leech, but keep it to reasonable levels. Communism is when, yes, communism is when you have to fucking live off Social Security, even if you have the means to not do so. I have one too. Am I the bad guy? No, dude. Oh, you put a cap on the end of that. Anyway, let's keep going.
Advocates like Santa Maria say rent relief programs are working, but require patience.
It's understandable if you haven't been paid in 4 or 5 months, you're not thinking the 6th month or the 7th month.
If you have a 401k, that means you can't be anti-Wall Street though? Why not? It's like saying if you make a lot of money, if you're in the 1% of wealth in America, you can't be fucking advocating against like, you can't advocate for higher taxes on the 1%. You absolutely can, and I absolutely do. I have no delusions. I don't think I'm a fucking jobs creator. Like, I don't need to like justify it. I don't understand why us on the left have to like literally cuck ourselves to Republican right-wing reactionary propaganda about like how leftists need to be fucking poor and destitute to be leftist. And when you're in that situation, they're like, well, one, you're powerless, okay, because you're trying to survive, and you don't have enough time and freedom to fucking be able to advocate or agitate for these things. But then two, then you're a hypocrite. I mean, not a hypocrite. Then you're fucking jealous. You're jealous of the wealth. That's why you want to, because you're lazy. You're jealous of the wealth. That's why you fucking want wealth distribution. When you're rich, you're fucking a hypocrite and the best capitalist ever. If I was the best capitalist ever, there are a million different things I could fucking do. A million. There are so many incredible Like, there's just so many opportunities, so many options, okay, for me to just like fucking milk you guys nonstop. Ad campaigns every fucking day, okay? Constantly doing ads, constantly doing fucking ads. When I'm doing, right now, I'm in the process of making merch for you, because you guys fucking are up my ass about it. I could have just easily worked with a fucking drop shipping company that literally offers the most robust, like incredible, diverse fucking inventory of products that they make for like, you know, $3 fucking with like Indonesian child slaves. Okay, you do understand that a slumlord has to pay for repairs, property tax, and a lot of expenses. So if they don't get paid from the renters, you do understand the bank comes in and will do the same as a landlord, demand payment or leave. Do you want the government to take over all the apartments? I mean, no disrespect with my question. First of all, it's not the government that takes those apartments. It's the fucking bank that takes those apartments. And no, that's why I am not anti-fucking relief for the landlords in that situation either. Like, what government is taking the fucking apartments, dude? People in the 1% advertising for tax increases are cringe. It's completely disingenuous branding move. I don't know. Yeah, totally. Agreed, dude. So disingenuous. Or, you know, maybe fucking people legitimately believe that. I don't know.
I just got a second interview at
NASA.
NASA.
That's when you're going to get paid. These programs are successful. It just takes a little bit of time.
King Queen.
But the clock is ticking as millions struggle to keep a roof over their heads.
In some cases, states simply don't have the staff to run such a large organization, but there are signs of improvement. In June, the states gave out more money than in the previous 5 months combined. Anthony?
I think the real fuck shit is like Warren Buffett being like, the highest like tax bracket for income needs to be higher, which I don't disagree with. I agree. But like, motherfucker, that doesn't impact you.
I chat love you.
Like,
Good
that doesn't impact you at all. Like, what about what about capital gains? Why aren't you talking about that? Like, changing the way that fucking capital gains works. You can take a line of credit in perpetuity with how much wealth that you have that you're sitting on. You know what I mean? He's like, oh man, the fucking God, we really need to raise taxes on the wealthy. It's like, oh, okay, sure. Capital gains? Nope. Why the heck do so many people in the lowest 2-3 tax brackets advocate for tax breaks up the wazoo? Because socialism is incredibly difficult to implement in the United States, because the proletariat do not see themselves as an exploited working class, but instead as temporarily embarrassed millionaires. Okay, that's why. The notion of meritocracy and the American dream is so deeply embedded in the American collective identity that these selfish hogs think they're gonna fucking make it, and they're gonna make it real big, and it's coming soon.
All these daily streams, whether big or whether small, so there he is again. The sun is streaming, the sun is streaming. You wait.